Hello, it's Amanda, and it is Miss She-Spire Sunday once again. We are going to talk about being authentic and being vulnerable and how they're interwoven with one another. I firmly believe the two coincide right next to each other, that you cannot be one without the other. That is something that I believe wholeheartedly, and I wanted to share my thoughts about that with you all. Hopefully that would point you in the right direction if that is something that you are moving towards or would like to move towards. First, let's talk about being authentic. And my definition of being authentic is just being you, whatever that is, however that is, not focusing on what other people think or how they feel about you being exactly who you are. Being yourself is sometimes scary. Everyone wants to be liked. Everyone wants to be in the so-called in crowd or wants to be accepted. That's something universal and that everybody wants. It's not any different for anyone. That's where I think vulnerability comes in. Being vulnerable with someone is being authentically you. You are unable to be truly yourself until you can be vulnerable with somebody, or until you can be vulnerable with yourself. Being vulnerable with yourself is a scary thing. To look at yourself 100%, flaws and all, insecurities and all, everything, and saying, okay, I'm going to see you for exactly who you are, and I'm going to be true to you no matter what, is probably one of the scariest things in the world. I feel like there's a lot of things that it would be hard to do if you aren't being authentic or you're not being vulnerable, especially with yourself. And in order to do those things, you have to face fears that a lot of people in life will never face. The fear is to truly know yourself. Maybe stuff hidden in there that you wouldn't even know about until you peel those layers back. It's kind of like an onion. You just peel all the layers back and see what's truly inside. And I feel like until you get to the true core of who you are, you're never really going to be authentic with someone. And that takes vulnerability. It takes being vulnerable and being open and kind of being raw with yourself in order to be authentic. A lot of people, including myself, I used to think vulnerability was a weakness. And when I took a look at the depths of what vulnerability really was, I learned that being vulnerable is more brave, more courageous, more fearless than anything that you could be. In me stepping out and making these videos, it's causing me to be extremely vulnerable. Even though I may be afraid of what other people might think of the videos or of myself, or criticize me, or say, hey, you should do this, or you should do this, or whatever the criticisms may be, I'm stepping out into my own bravery, into my own fearlessness, to be vulnerable with people and to be authentically me. I have said in previous videos that my purpose in life is to motivate and inspire people. The way that I want to do that is to become a motivational speaker. It's a scary thing for me, and even doing this baby step in putting these videos out there and telling people, my thoughts and my ideas of all these different things that I want to motivate people towards, it's scary. It is causing me to be very vulnerable. And I've realized that doing that and putting myself out there like I am, I feel more on top of the world than I've ever felt in my entire life. I feel like I'm facing fears that I never would have done. And even though it may still frighten me to talk in front of people or to give a speech or to address people in any sort of fashion, in doing these videos, it is helping me greatly, because I do know that it's not about what other people think about me. It's about what I think about me. It's about the opinions that I hold about myself. And if I feel that I am being authentic with myself, I actually feel better than if anybody were to tell me anything. So if people were to say, oh, you're being brave, or you're being courageous, or your videos are amazing, or whatever they're going to say, if they're saying positive things, it does touch my heart. And I'm like, oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. However, until I believe that about myself, it's not as important. You know what I mean? If you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe wholeheartedly that you are being yourself, you're truly opening up and being raw with yourself and just letting it all hang out, it really, life doesn't mean as much. I've received so much from doing these videos, not from what other people have told me, which I appreciate 100%. However, I feel so proud of myself. I feel so brave. I honestly feel fearless and on top of the world. And in all actuality, it wouldn't really matter if 5 people saw this video. It's about the fact that I'm taking steps towards the true me and exactly what I want to do. I'm not letting anybody hold me back. I'm not letting anybody make decisions for me or choose the path that I'm going to go on. I'm choosing it. I'm saying, okay, I'm done with living the life that I've felt is what other people wanted me to do, and I want to live the life that I want to live. And I feel in that is being truly authentic with yourself. To be vulnerable enough and open up to yourself and say, hey, what are the things that I enjoy? What are the things that I love to do? What are the things that I get the most joy out of in life? And how do I want to spread that out throughout my entire lifetime? And actually going for it and actually doing those things that you love so much is really being authentic to yourself. I feel there's a power in getting your voice out into the world. I feel there's a power in letting people see the real you. You don't have to fit into the crowd. It's scary to step outside of the circle that you think everyone else is in and be like, okay, well, this is me and this is all of you guys. That's scary. And I did not start owning my own voice, my own opinion, my own anything until I was probably 30 years old, honestly. It was probably when I was like 30 or 31, which, by the way, I'm 32 now, so it wasn't that long ago. I figured I don't want to be everyone else. I want to be me. I actually like me. I challenge you all to, really look at yourselves, and if you don't like yourself at this point, figure out the things that you do like about yourself and build on that. Because to truly be authentic, you have to be okay with your imperfections. If you haven't read Brené Brown's Gifts of Imperfection, read it. It is one of the most eye-opening books that I've ever read. It'll help you see you are your imperfections. That's what makes you unique. That's what makes you you. I would never consider myself above anybody else or anything like that. I consider myself different from other people. And I feel like every single person is different from the other. Nobody is exactly the same. And that's what's beautiful about this world, is to think about how many people, there's 7 billion people in the world or something like that. And to think that every single one of them is completely different. That blows my mind a little bit, because that's crazy. 7 billion people. And every single one of them is different. That's nuts. What makes you beautiful, what makes you amazing, what makes you what makes you a catch, what makes you who you are is your imperfections, and you being able to be vulnerable with that and really celebrate them is how you are going to be authentic with the world. I honestly don't feel that someone can live the life that they were destined to live without being vulnerable and without being authentic. I honestly don't see how it's possible. For one, you're not going to make yourself happy because you're not being you. You're not being true to yourself. And that's the beauty of life, is to live your life trying to figure out who you are, what you want, and go for it. I truly feel that that's why we're on this earth, is to figure out who we are and to live it constantly, vulnerably, authentically, being us, being raw and being out in the open. Life is too amazing to try to be somebody else. Trust me, you will be a lot happier just by being yourself. I know that for a fact because I am. The days that I am authentically me are the best days that I ever have. The days where I try to fit in with the people I'm around, or I try to change who I am in some way, shape, or form, are the days that I'm not truly happy. And I'll end the day and I'll be like, you know what? This day wasn't that fun. And it was because I wasn't me. I wasn't celebrating who I was. I honestly don't know how many lives you have, if you have more than one. However, you have this one. Make it everything that it possibly could be. Just go for you. Be you. It's honestly not as scary as you think it is. And if you actually want to be courageous and brave, be yourself. That's probably the most brave thing I could think of anyone to do. Because in order for you to be vulnerable and you to be authentic, you have to be brave. And you have to be courageous. And you have to be compassionate and open. And not just to other people, but to yourself. And first and foremost, it has to start with you. Everything in life starts with yourself. Be authentic with yourself. I challenge you just to try it. Just to try it out for like a day. Try it out for a day. Be you. Peel off the layers of whatever layers you have. Peel them off and just be you for a day authentically. Be vulnerable with yourself and then be vulnerable with the people around you. And just see what happens. I'm guessing you're going to find that you're a pretty awesome person, whether you thought so or not. And the world is a much better place with you being you. With you being authentic and real and just you. So thank you for joining me again this Sunday. I look forward to talking with you again in my next video next Sunday for She Spires Sunday. Please subscribe to this video, click the thumbs up and like it. I would love that. We'll see you next Sunday. Love to you all.